I'm Miriam,
I'm Elena Rafael.
and we're from the Cotter Chronicle, and we're interviewing.
I'm Jacob Seigel-Boettner with Pedalborn Pictures.
And Issac Seigel-Boettner.
So we realized that you're working with your family and your brother, and he's basically your business partner. And how's that working out for you guys?
That's a great question. Yeah, we're business partners, I guess. We run a company, just the two of us, doing everything on the filmmaking side of things. It's going pretty well, I think. It's been about 5 years now, and we're still working together, so I guess it's working all right.
Yeah, I mean, we're brothers. We have our moments, but I think for better, for worse, when you're working with family, you can have creative disagreements that you might not be able to have with a coworker and be honest to a level that you can't with a coworker, which has its pluses and minuses. But on the whole, I think our work has benefited from the creative disagreements that we have sometimes had.
So how do you your disagreements, right? How do you solve them? Like, do you work always at home, or is it like a serious thing, or do you just like come up with ideas all around?
Yeah, we try to divide, so every film or commercial or documentary that we make, we try to divide up the roles so that there's a clear, someone's in charge of this, someone's the director, someone's the producer, there's a distinction of who has the final call of things. At first it was a lot of just arguing to see who's in charge, and now we're trying to, formalize it a little bit more with clearly defined roles so it's not just two brothers working together.
So staying on the family page, I got to meet your dad yesterday, and I got to sit down with him for a few minutes and kind of taught me some things. And I know that you guys have also had him as a teacher. So could you tell us a good story about having him as a teacher?
Well, it's something that we go back to the school. He teaches that a lot, and it's really funny to meet some of his old students because when we were in his class, he tried not to tell stories about like baby stories of ours. But I think since we left the classroom, stories have been told of our lives, and it's always funny to meet the kids that might know us a lot better than we expected. We're meeting these sixth graders who like know all these intimate stories of our lives, which is kind of funny.
All right. So when you are going to go do a film in another country or kind of a very different place, how do you kind of prepare yourselves for maybe like the culture shock or like a language barrier or something like that? How do you prepare yourselves to make a film so far away from home?
I mean, I think the most important thing that we've been successful with is whenever we go to another country and make a film, we're not just going in with no partners on the ground already. I think our films that have been successful because we identified a nonprofit or a person working in that country first and sort of had them help us with the first levels of research, because the one part of filmmaking that's not very glamorous that is definitely necessary is doing research on your topic. Just like if you're writing a paper, you dig into current news articles, you study the political situation, know what the weather is, so you know if you need like a rain cover for your camera, but also finding someone on the ground who can help you find stories, because as an outsider, unless you go somewhere and live there for 2 or 3 years, you're not going to know the people and be able to navigate things as well. So having that local partner sort of helps jumpstart things and helps build trust as well, because ideally you're working with someone who already has connections with people in the community and has worked with them for a while. So when you show up with them with a camera, there's already like this understanding of you're with this person who they trust, so they trust you by extension. And so I think that's really important. And the other thing is, whenever we go to a new country and we meet someone who we're going to be filming with, the first day we meet them, we don't bring the camera with. We just meet them and sit down and talk about what we're trying to do, get them comfortable with us, make them understand what the expectations are going to be on both sides, ask if they have any questions about the process as well. And that definitely helps build that trust and break down any sort of preconceptions that we both might have about each other. Anything else?
All right, so that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for your time.